Hello, today in this dev diary I'd like to talk about trading. But first I'd like to thank all those people who've pledged on Kickstarter. The pledges are really fantastic at the moment. Those who are watching and thinking of pledging, come and join us. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. We're having a great time already. It's just going to get better. Okay, talking about trading. Obviously it's going to be a major part of this game. So, it's one of the possible things you can do. And I imagine it's something whenever you're travelling around in your ship, you will take some trade goods with you because you'll just get extra money from it as you travel from place to place. But we're also going to build on it in a slightly more sophisticated way than we did in Elite or in Frontier. So the main change is we will still have the categories. So food, for example, where the food price will be different on an agricultural world. Typically food prices will be a lot lower than on an industrial world. But we will have gradations within that. So for example, if you were to come in with a cargo of giant Jonty bass from Jonty World, let's say, then that might be 50% more expensive than the food price on that wherever you're selling it. And that margin will change based on your distance from Jonty World because of the rarity value. Whereas if you were just taking sort of bog standard wheat from somewhere local, the price would be at the standard food price or even possibly a little bit below. So the point that way means the further you take it, you actually get more value from your cargo. Also, if you think of the evolving galaxy, the way that I've talked about already in a previous dev diary, so if you've got a famine on a world, automatically the food prices will be very much higher. And as that demand is satisfied, the food prices come down. So all in all, that very much affects it. And there will be ways to game that, where groups of players can force the price up or down and then benefit from it. And so you should be able to drive the stock market in the way that happens in real life, where players can cooperate and suddenly dump a whole load of food on the market, say. Now, a similar thing that I've been asked about but haven't talked a lot about is mining. So mining also we want to make a little bit more sophisticated. So for example, if you're mining in one of the core systems, the chances of finding a large deposit of something would be incredibly low. In comparison with if you go out to one of the frontier worlds or even beyond the frontier where it's explored but not yet there are not yet people living there, your chance of finding a really great find is very, very much higher. And so with all of these things, that will evolve with time. So as the system becomes more populated, your chance of discovering a great, gold reserve will decrease. But your ability to sell it, your ability to get it back to a place where there's a stock market is obviously much greater, which is so... with all of these things that we want to factor in, or we plan to factor in the rarity of the item to affect the cost. Because I think one of the things that always frustrated me with Elite and Frontier, I think, wait a second, I've taken all these goods, a really, really long way. I should get more for them than the really short jumps, which you can do almost as an exploit within the game, where you jump. There was in Elite, I think there was a 0.1 light year jump in the bottom left, where you could really, really make money quickly. It's those sort of things where, when you do make the long jumps or the complex trips, because maybe you're doing another mission at the same time, you should really benefit from it. So with all of those things coming together, I think they should make for a lot of richness. And what really interests me is when players can cooperate to actually improve that. Because a lot of these things where you get sort of group behaviours, I think is exciting, especially if you follow it. You're thinking, oh, all of these people are buying these goods at the same time to drive the market. That can actually make the gameplay really compelling when you have online things where you drive the price up or down and then benefit from it. Now, I think trading was seen... Ian and I ironically saw trading as being quite dull in Elite, and it was really just a justification for travelling from A to B. But I think the more richness we can do to it, so you can go to somewhere special where there is a rare or valuable resource, then people will do it, because presumably on Jonty World there will be other things that you can buy that are just sort of much more mundane. But if you imagine that there is some sort of rare creature or a particularly tasty creature, then that makes it a lot more intriguing. So just finishing off, I'd like to thank everybody again for all of the pledges that have come in. They're now coming in thick and fast, which is great. Thank you very much for all those people who've pledged, all those thinking of pledging. Come and join us. It's going to be fantastic. This game has to be made, so let's get there and make it. Thank you very much, and Merry Christmas.